When it comes to investing in real estate, it's easy to get caught up in the headlines, see the big numbers, and get excited, but also question if it's actually reality. So today I want to take a step back and look at a property that we personally purchased just over 12 months ago to peel back the layer and have a look at what that property actually performed like over a 12-month period, both in terms of cash flow, what it actually cost or earned us holding onto that property, and how much that property's actually increased in value. Now, as the third little layer to this property is an Airbnb property. It is on the short-term rental market, so this does make it a little bit unique, but hey, let's jump into it. Let's look at these numbers. So I think an important disclosure here is this property wasn't a deceased estate. It wasn't a bank repossession. It wasn't a distressed sale. It wasn't even an off-market deal. This property was on realestate.com. It was available for the masses to buy. We just thought it was a smart property to be purchasing that aligned with our overall long-term strategy for our real estate portfolio. So what was the property and why did it capture our attention? Well, the property was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that was 148 square meters. Now that's rather on the large size for a 2-bedroom apartment, but it was a very spacious, built in 2009 apartment that we really found appealing. Now, why did we find it appealing? There was 3 main reasons. The first reason, it was substantially below replacement cost. Being 148 square meters, like I say, it was a larger apartment, and to recreate that property, to replace it today, would essentially cost twice the purchase price of what we paid for the property. So that meant that there was really a limitation of anyone bringing new supply, bringing similar stock to the market until prices at least doubled and then some in this area. So that made me really feel secure in this property, in the fact that it had long-term potential to grow before we saw the market start to flood with new properties. And even to today, 12 months after we purchased it, there's still no unit construction in the area. So that's going to continue to put pressure on prices, and we're likely to see prices well and truly continue to rise into the future until established units start selling at similar prices to what they could actually be replaced with. The second factor that really caught our attention with this apartment was the fact that it was dual zoned. It was zoned for both short-term lettings, that meant it could legally be put on the Airbnb market without any risk of the council shutting it down, and you can live in it long-term. So it had long-term zoning as well. So it was both classed as residential and short-term, which is a really unique mix. And something that is unique to the Cairns City and Cairns North suburbs is those dual zoning apartments. And that's something that really appealed to us, is the fact that we could have confidence putting it on the Airbnb market while also having confidence in the future if someone was wanting to buy and live in that property, that it also ticked that box. The third big element was location. This apartment is essentially set just one block back from the Cairns Esplanade in a really desirable area that has basically no land left. So if anyone was wanting to develop in this area, they would need to buy an established property, demolish it to then be able to build and replicate what's on this site today. So that location was a big draw card for us. The property is located near the Cairns Hospital, which is one of the biggest employers in Cairns. It's located near the airport, and it is also located near a number of cafes and restaurants, making this a really desirable area for both people to buy and live in the property, for long-term rental tenants, and for short-term rental guests like Airbnb guests. And that was one of the main reasons we were buying this property, was to put it onto the Airbnb market and capitalise on those high returns currently on offer in Cairns. So we went to contract on this property in October of 2024, and it settled in November of 2024. So the good thing here today is I can look back at the 12 months worth of data and really start to paint a picture of what owning this property looked like. Now, what did we pay for the property? We paid $420,000 for this apartment. And by the time we furnished it, paid stamp duties, paid solicitors' fees, all in were in the property for $445,000. Now, when we were buying this property, we actually accessed the equity of another property we owned to be able to buy it. We didn't actually put a cent of our own savings into the property, not to furnish it, not to pay for stamp duty. We essentially borrowed the full amount, including those additional costs that were incurred when we set up the property. And that's the beautiful thing about building a real estate portfolio, is as prices rise, As your properties go up in equity, you're able to release some of that equity to put towards buying the next property, and it really allows you to snowball from one property into the next, which is a really exciting unlock once you actually start down this property investing journey. Now let's break down what this property actually cost us to hold on to for a 12-month period. Now, to run through these expenses and understand these numbers is really important when it comes to investing in property. You want to know how much a property is going to cost you or earn you each year as part of your analysis of that property and working out if it's a deal you should be moving forward on. So this property, our interest component for the first 12 months was $24,831. The body corporates are a little bit high in this complex, and it is a factor that puts some buyers off purchasing in here. The body corporate fees was almost $12,000 for the last 12 months, but the reality is the complex is very well looked after. It has 2 lifts, it has 2 swimming pools, and those are big draw factors for Airbnb guests. So we were happy to pay those body corporate fees, as we do own into a really well-maintained complex, and that keeps attracting guests over and over. And it also attracts long-term tenants as well as owner-occupiers into the future that see value in those body corporate fees. So just because something does have high body corporate fees doesn't mean you should be disregarding that property straight away. It often can still stack up provided the purchase price makes sense. So body corporate fees were close to $12,000. Our council rates were sitting around $3,400, water around $400, electricity, because it's on the Airbnb market, we needed to pay for the electricity, was close to $3,000. Insurance was $395. The actual building insurance falls under the body corporate fees with apartments. So the insurance was just the Airbnb short stay policy that covers us for public liability and if a guest was to do damage to the property. And then lastly, cleaning costs. Because the property was on the short-term rental market, the cleaning cost is something you need to consider. Our cleaning cost was over $12,000 for the last 12 months, but that means that we didn't have to worry about changeovers. Someone was coming in, doing the linen, doing the cleaning for us. In total, the holding cost for this property was $56,000 in the last 12 months. Now, a lot of people would look at that and go, $56,000 worth of holding costs on a property that costs $445,000? That seems a little bit expensive. And the reality is, look, it may look that way, but in business, in investing, it's not so much about what the gross profits or the gross costs look like. It all comes down to net. And that's what's really important. And that's the real hero of this story. So let's continue on and look at what profit the property made in the first 12 months. As I mentioned, one of the biggest reasons we actually purchased this property was to put it on the Airbnb market. Cairns North and Cairns City are really desirable locations for short-term guests. There's a lot of reasons people visit Cairns: for tourism, for work, for hospital treatments, and that means there's a lot of demand in the market for properties on the short-term rental market, and that's shown in this property. So this property, we had 63 reservations in the first 12 months for a total income after Airbnb, after booking fees, of $71,157. So what does that actually equate to in regards to net income? The property actually generated a net income close to $15,000, so $14,892 in the first 12 months. So that's a $286 income per week for this property. Now, most properties are massively negatively geared in the first year. So the fact that this one didn't just break even, but actually generated almost $15,000 worth of cash flow means it really stacked up well. And we saw this going into it. We saw that these numbers were going to make sense. And we're thrilled to actually see that come to fruition 12 months after purchasing, that the property was in a position where it actually generated cash flow and a real meaningful income. Now, one important caveat to this is we do self-manage this property. We outsource the cleaning and the linen supplies, but we do manage the guest communication. We do manage setting the nightly rates. If you were to go out and employ a property manager to look after this property, it would essentially be a neutrally geared property. The property manager in the Airbnb space would charge around 20%, which would take away the majority of those profits. So that's just an important caveat. We are self-managing this property, But for $15,000 a year, it's not a lot of work to self-manage it, and it's something me and my partner are quite comfortable in doing so. But, when you're considering a property, if you're wanting it to be a true passive income, factoring in property management services is really important as part of that due diligence. So when it comes to investing in property, the cash flow position really only makes up a part of the equation. Where wealth really is created is through capital growth, and that's really highlighted in this property. So we bought the property all in, including furnishing it. We're in it for $445,000. Fast forward to today, and comparable properties are selling for around $60,000 more. So that is quite a considerable gain in just 12 months of ownership. The properties, like I say, comparable to it are selling for $60,000 more. And that really puts into perspective, as much as cash flow is important, the capital growth has actually outpaced that cash flow by 4 times. So all in, if you combine the cash flow of this property, which generated close to $15,000 in the first 12 months, along with the capital growth, this property has made us $75,000 in the first year of ownership, which that's the equivalent of a lot of wages out there. So the fact that one property purchased for $445,000 can generate $75,000 worth of income should excite a lot of people. That is an exciting opportunity. But the thing is, that isn't where this story ends. We aim to hold on to this property for the foreseeable future and at least the next 5 to 10 years. And this is when the power of compound growth really starts to take effect. So if we were to look at the growth of this property over the next 5 years at just a modest 8%, we essentially see the property goes up in value by a further 50%. We can see the property goes from being worth around $510,000 up to being worth close to $750,000 in 5 years' time. So you can really start to see that hockey stick growth as those compounding growth rates take effect. So the chart here is based on an 8% growth rate over a 5-year period. Now, to take a further look into the future and start looking at the compounding effect of the property performing over a 10-year period at 8% growth, the property becomes worth close to $1.1 million as we look into the future 10 years. And that's at an 8% growth rate. Now, you might go 8% growth rate seems unrealistic. Over the last 50 years, the national average property increase is 7% per annum. So if you're buying in a strategic area that has population growth, that has demand, that has limited land supply, achieving an 8% growth rate isn't unrealistic. And that's what we've forecast the growth of this property on, is on an 8% growth rate, compounded yearly. And that's what takes this $500,000 property to being worth in excess of $1 million 10 years into the future, which is exciting, I must say. Now, like I said at the start of the video, this property wasn't some amazing fluke purchase. It wasn't some off-market deal. It wasn't some distressed estate. This property was very similar to a lot of properties selling 12 months ago. And these sort of apartments still sell in today's market for around that low 500s mark. So it's still possible to get into these properties at a really achievable entry price point. And that's what makes this so exciting, is it's still accessible for the average Joe looking at investing. This sort of property is certainly something I would still strongly recommend people consider now and into the future. So a few big lessons to take away from this property deal. The first of all is know your strategy before you start looking for properties. Now, we were really clear when we went out and started looking for this property that we wanted something to be dual zoned. We wanted to be able to put it on the short-term rental market, and we wanted the guarantee that that wasn't going to change or get legislated into the future. So finding a property that had dual zoning was really important to us. Finding something that was also below replacement cost. People are often shy away from apartments and recommend not buying apartments. And one of the reasons for that is supply. But when you're buying into a market where sales prices are half the cost of replacing that same property, you really are assured that supply isn't going to flood the market anytime soon. And the final big takeaway is, if you are investing in real estate, don't look at what just the first year returns could look like. Step back, zoom out, take a look at the 5-year returns and the 10-year returns, as that's when wealth is really made. It's that compounding effect. It's that growth rate happening year after year. As much as real estate might not go up in a straight line, when you look at the long-term averages, that compounding growth really is what creates wealth. And it's what we see many successful real estate investors do time and time again. Their ability to look at the long-term growth rates of an area and invest wisely to secure their future. Now, if you are looking at getting into the real estate investing market, a property like this can be a great stepping stone as getting into the market and creating capital growth into the future. If you want help securing something like this, absolutely get in touch with our team. We'd love to work out an investment strategy and a plan to help you create financial freedom into the future. Get in touch today. We're here to help.